Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to No Holds Barred, our little post-game synopsis, our little thoughts video at the end of a journey. And oh, what a journey it has been. As you notice, or you may notice, we are still in Kingdom Hearts 3. We have just completed the ReMind DLC. Now, I've already done a recap of my thoughts on Kingdom Hearts, the base game, Kingdom Hearts 3's base game even. It's already on the channel, you can find it somewhere in the playlists. No, this is for the DLC only, and oh blimey. Right, where to start? It's sort of a tale in three parts, so we'll start obviously with part one. ReMind itself. ReMind is a post-game. It's sort of, at the end of the game, Sora goes off, and this fills in the gaps of what Sora is doing in that time. More than that, there's a bit of time travel involved, but that's the basic gist of it. I won't try and I tend not to go into spoilers. But I will say this. The last hour of that part of the DLC, and I have to say this because it's my favourite part of anything ever, at least in terms of Kingdom Hearts. The last hour or so of the DLC is a culmination of the entire franchise to this point, as far as I'm concerned. It is, you have built up to that moment. It is epic, it is amazing, and I was absolutely enthralled with it. It's fantastic. I kind of want to go back and play it again. As for the rest of the DLC, story-wise, there are new elements. Like I said, the last hour of the DLC is where everything mainly takes part. The rest of it's sort of just following the end of the base game with extra bits and pieces of information added into the mix. Hold on, sorry, I've just touched the... I keep forgetting that I'm on a different menu, so I'm not going to go into the cinematic. Anyway, but yeah, the game, it's basically the ending, but with some tissue tying it together here and there. The main meat of it, at least to me, is some shifts up, not so much to the gameplay. The mechanics are exactly the same as the base game. They're still very tight, they're still brilliant. They are my favourite mechanics, my favourite fighting system of any of the Kingdom Hearts. It even still has the shortcuts. I know they wouldn't have removed that for obvious reasons, but I'm still really happy they brought the shortcuts back because I missed them. But anyway, yes. No, throughout the DLC, you get to play as several other characters, not just Sora. I mainline Sora because after all the stuff I went through to get him to level 99 and get the Ultima, I really was going to make use of it all, so there we go. Music's the same, still beautiful, still brilliant, cinematic, still fantastic. They've changed the voice of Xehanort. They have gone with... Oh, chat, can you help me out here? Is it Christopher Lee? No, it's not Christopher Lee. Doc Brown from Back to the Future. He is now the voice of Xehanort, and he has done a fantastic job. I went over my thoughts on the first voice of Xehanort in my thoughts video, so there we go. But yeah, Doc Brown, perfect, fantastic, you were brilliant. I hope we see you with Xehanort again, but who knows with this franchise. Anyway, part 2 of the DLC. Part 2 is called the Limit Cut episode. And that was a thing. The Limit Cut episode is basically the Garden of Assemblance from Kingdom Hearts 2. You fight through data battles against all 13 members of Organization 13. Well, I say all 13. Yeah, obviously, you don't fight Axel again because he's now a good guy. But it was... The Garden of Assemblance, the Limit Cut, I generally thought I wasn't going to manage it. I'm on critical difficulty. I am not good with boss gauntlets, and these are considered super bosses. Some are a real thorn in my side, and I really, really hate them. Like, Dark Riku. He can get hit by a bus as far as I'm concerned. I really, really hated that boss fight. Maybe you enjoy it. Maybe you'll love it. You do you. I absolutely hated it. It was some of the cheapest mechanics I've encountered so far. Then you have the really difficult, very technical, absolutely fantastic bosses like Xemnas. 7 hours it took me to beat that boss. But, oh, what a fight. It was amazing. It really was. Then you have a couple of unlocked bosses. I won't spoil them for you, but I'm sure you can figure out that the final one is going to be Xehanort. But yeah, they go up a gradual scale of difficulty. You've got Larxene, who I generally beat by accident, and then you've got Xehanort right at the top. I say Xehanort. I don't think he's the most difficult one, but your mileage may vary there. But yeah, the music in these fights, remixes from the previous games, from other bits and pieces. I don't know if there's any original material in there. I'm sure chat will point me wrong if I am. But yeah, the music, the soundtrack, it's up there with everything else in this game. Combat, same as always, but with the flip side that you have to use the combat system to its fullest ability. You have to use the customization to swap out spells. You need to go in with items. You can do this without items. You can do no damage runs if you're that skilled. I'm not. I had items. You have to swap out your magic depending on the fight. You have to use different keyblades depending on the fight, because sometimes one keyblade might do more damage than another one based on other bits and pieces. At least that's what I found. Or it's even down to form change on the keyblade is required. I know in one fight, I think it was Xemnas, I had to use the Oblivion Keyblade over the Ultima, my go-to Keyblade, simply because of it helped me block a few more of their abilities. Each super boss has a DM move, which turns the thing up to 11, but oh boy, golly, it was fun. I complained, I moaned, but I absolutely would not give doing the Limit Cut episode up for anything. I've grown as a gamer. I have learned so much about mechanics and other bits and pieces just from those fights. I have learned the ins and outs of this game, and I have fallen in love with it all over again. Just the sheer jubilation of defeating one of those bosses, and then at the end you stand in front of all 13 gates and you see how far you've come. But that's not it. Because after that, after all the battles, after all the fights, after all 13 members of the organisation, you have one last fight. The secret boss, Yozora. I'm going to butcher the poor chap's name now, and I apologise, but Naruma? The director of the game? Nomura? I think it's Naruma. Nomura? Nomura. I think it's Nomura, but anyway, the director is Nomura. Hey, I was right, sort of ish. We'll say I'm right. Anyway, thanks, chat. Yes, Nomura. It's said that he designed the boss to make people cry, and I can believe it, because it may not have made me cry, but as the VODs will testify, I did end up yammering to myself and doing all sorts of weird things just through sheer insanity. So, yeah, there's that. But the Yozora fight in total, not including online, on-stream fighting, and the last 3 days dipping in and out I've done before this stream, to get up to speed with this boss fight, it took me at least 12 hours, not 12 hours, actually no, it would be about 12 hours, because 2 for 6, yeah, it was 10 hours-ish at the end, towards the end of the last stream, and then I've done about 13 hours, ironically, to learn this boss fight. Like I said, your mileage may vary, you may be an expert on Kingdom Hearts. If you are, fantastic, but that fight is not a joke. That fight is hard as anything, and I loved it. I can't say anything more. Will I do it again? Probably not in a hurry, but it was amazing. They did a bit of tweaking to Sora's character model in there, so the graphics in the secret episode, the Yozora fight, is slightly turned up than it was previously, but even so, the game, the engine they've used is fantastic. It is such a beautiful game. It's such a beautiful fighting stage there. The music is beautifully orchestrated. The limit cut bosses push you to your limits as a gamer, push you to learn the mechanics of the system, the mechanics of the game. This one makes you have to use them. You have to use everything in your arsenal. You make a mistake, at least on critical, and one fumbled block has ended entire runs of that fight for me. One block launched in, which he just launches into a combo and then flattens me, and it's over. I got him at one point down to 2 hits left on his health bar. I fumbled a single block. or a single block or a single dodge, I can't remember at this point, and it was over. But yeah, be warned, the Yozora fight is not a joke. But if you can do it, do it! It's something truly to behold. But anyway, I think I have gushed and yammered on about this game too much as it is. But yeah, those are my thoughts, my feelings on Kingdom Hearts 3 ReMind. And at the end of it, a year ago I started this franchise run. And now, we close the book on it. And I must admit, a part of me is a bit emotional. This franchise has been with me for so long as a streamer. It's weird to say goodbye to it for now. But you can bet that when the next Kingdom Hearts comes out, maybe not the mobile games, but when the next console game comes out, you can bet we will be covering it. We will venture forth back into the world, the realm of Kingdom Hearts, without a second thought or hesitation. But with that said, thank you for watching. Thank you for joining me in my little thoughts video. Well, I can't say little anymore. Thank you for joining me for this thoughts video. I hope to see you around the Vortex, around the channel at some point. And wherever you are in this whole wide world, may you have a beautiful evening, morning, or afternoon, wherever it is. And as always, until our paths next cross again, the Vortex awaits. And I'll see you all next time.